What is going on, Alabama fans? It is game day once again. Week 2 here. Crimson Tide going up against South Florida. Make sure you guys like today's video. If you want Alabama to beat South Florida today, look, guys, the numbers do not lie. The more likes we get on these preview videos, the more likely it is that Alabama puts the whooping on whatever team they're playing. It just so happens they're playing USF this week. So make sure you like today's video for me right now. Coming up here, week 2 matchup, Alabama going up against South Florida. Look, guys, we remember very clearly what happened last year. It's a bad taste in, all of our mouths and the guys especially that played on the team last year against this South Florida team. Last year, you're starting Tyler Buckner in that game, a guy who is now walking on at Notre Dame to be a wide receiver. So you're not going to have to go through that. Jalen Milroe, obviously, is your starting quarterback. He will play in this game. And hopefully that means Alabama goes in there and, takes care of everything that they need to do. They cover the 31-point spread. I think, considering what happened last year, a lot of the guys on this team are, very upset about it still. We heard Jahad Campbell a couple days ago. Every time he was asked about South Florida, he was just basically like, look, we'll see him on Saturday. We'll see him on Saturday. Didn't really go into, anything, about their quarterback. Didn't want to give them any bulletin board material like they have given us. And we'll talk about that later in today's show as well. But I think the biggest, playmaker for South Florida is their quarterback, right? Byrum Brown last year didn't really do a lot for them. Look, they only scored 3 points in last year's game. So he wasn't really this, player that went out there and just played amazing and kept him in it. No, Alabama just wasn't able to do anything on offense at the end of the day last year. And look, there is also a lot of familiarity with, some of these players when it comes to their head coach, Alex Golesh. He was the Tennessee offensive coordinator back in 2022 when they beat Alabama. So a lot of the guys on this team have played against, his style of offense. And when you talk about Alex Golesh in particular, giving Alabama bulletin board material, this might have been the dumbest thing that you can do is, go out there during the American Athletic Media Days and just put your foot in your mouth, to be honest with you. There's no good reason for, him to really say what he said, saying Alabama and Miami got to play South Florida instead of the other way around. South Florida has to play Miami and Alabama. Look, I get the fact that you want to hype your team up to think that they are, probably a better team than they actually are. But man, at the end of the day, these are not the kind of statements that you want to make when you have to play Alabama. Remember what happened last week when TJ Finley said that Alabama probably isn't what they used to be or what they think they are? Well, they showed them who they actually are. I think Alabama's going to go in there and do that to UCF as well this week. So it is prediction time here on the show. Predict the score for me. Alabama versus South Florida this week. Does Alabama cover the spread? Let me know your score predictions at the pinned comment of today's video. Keys to victory now. I think one of the biggest keys to victory for this game for Alabama is that they're going to have to contain the quarterback, Byrum Brown, for South Florida. Look, he's no scrub. I just want to say that. I know he plays for South Florida. I know probably I talk some shit about him every now and or about them every now and then. But look, last year, 2023, over 3,000 yards passing, over 800 yards rushing. And guess what? Only 2 players did that last year in the entire college football realm. It was him and it was Jayden Daniels. And look, Jayden Daniels won the Heisman. So, look, he's no scrub. He's a guy that can go out there and, make some plays and be very good for them. And what Alabama really needs to do is they need to contain him, especially on the ground. The guys I'm looking at to do that, Jahad Campbell, Quay Russaw, Quandarius Robinson, those are the guys that I expect to set the edge in this game for Alabama. Keep him contained, make sure he's not able to use his athleticism, get outside the pocket, and hurt them in ways that we've seen some of those mobile quarterbacks in the past do to Alabama. Key to victory number 2 here. I want Jalen Milroe to absolutely ball out in this game. We really didn't get a chance to really see, the full, scale of how Jalen Milroe has been able to really progress in this offseason last week. Look, I mean, he only threw the ball 9 times. Only a couple times did he throw it in those intermediate passing areas, anywhere from 10, 15 to 20 yards. I think he only had 1 ball that was in that realm. So what I would love to see this offensive staff be able to do, I think last week they just weren't really able to do it because they were able to run the ball so well on offense. They were scoring really fast in those big plays. I would love to see Jalen, throw the ball 20, 25 times in this game. I'd love to see him, layer some throws on the outside. I'd love to see more of the intermediate passing game where they're getting, 10, 15 yards a pop on those pass plays, because this is the biggest thing that, it's the biggest question mark about Jalen Milroe is how has he progressed in the offseason? I am definitely on team Jalen Milroe has gotten better, but at the end of the day, we didn't really get to see it last week. So that's one thing that I am going to be extremely excited and looking forward to in this game against South Florida. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today. That is Game Time. Guys, Game Time is the only ticketing app that I use. Whether it's for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, anything, Game Time has those for you. Game Time even has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. The Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concert, comedy, theater, anything you guys could ask for. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Prices on the Game Time app actually even go down the closer you get to the start of the event. So if you want to do something last second, Game Time's got you covered. Game Time even has killer last-minute deals. They have all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest prices guaranteed. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS at CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Key to victory number 3 now. I want this defense to swarm. They call themselves the swarm defense, and for the most part last week, I thought they did a pretty dang good job of, really, setting the edge and flying around. And at the end of the day, you had 4 or 5 guys making the tackle all at once. But there's this thing, man, that everybody thinks Alabama is not the same team that they once were. And I want them to be proven wrong. I'm so tired of people coming out and say Alabama is just not in anymore, because this team is still very good. They've still got extremely good athletes on this team. For me, the biggest key for Alabama this year is going to be on the coaching staff. Can they put those players in the right opportunities to be able to succeed? And so far, I think last week they did a good job. I would love to see that this week as well. I think they're going to have to force some more turnovers as well this week. I would love to see them turn those turnovers into touchdowns, into points. For the defense, I want to see some non-offensive touchdowns this week. Alabama's a better team at the end of the day. There's no reason that they should just absolutely not dominate in this game on the defensive side of the ball. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We are going to be going live 1 hour before kickoff. That is 5 p.m. Central Time. And do not miss out. We are going to start taking raffle entries to our Jalen Milroe jersey raffle. We got it right here for you guys. I think we're going to actually do the raffle more towards the end of the year, probably at the end of that Iron Bowl game. But it's your first opportunity to get your entries in. You got to be in our watch parties, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Key to victory number 4 for me here. I want the offensive line to continue that continuity and just getting better, vibing with each other, and, just being better as a whole. I think, the biggest key for you this week is the fact that Kadyn Proctor is not going to be playing again, in this game. Probably going to be Elijah Pritchett over there at that left tackle position. I think Wilkin Formby's pretty solid at the right tackle position as well. But I think you also saw some inconsistencies with, part of the offensive line that we thought was going to be, very, very solid for you. Parker Brailsford, Jalen Milroe, they got to get together and be better with those snaps. I think there was one snap where it was, a cadence issue on one of those plays, but then the other one was not a cadence issue. It was just straight up a bad snap from Parker Brailsford. So the one that went over Jalen Milroe's head was not Jalen Milroe's fault at the end of the day. So your keys for this offensive line this week, Elijah Pritchett, I would like to see him be better, earlier on in the game. I thought as the game went on last week, he did start to kind of, get in the flow of things, and he did get a little bit better as that game went on. But I just want this offensive line to be consistent. I want to be able to, convert on those 3rd and shorts very consistently. There's no reason you should not against a team like South Florida. So scale your confidence level right now in the comments section for me. Scale it 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Right now for me, this offensive line, I'm probably feeling, about like a 6 right now. I think it could definitely go higher. It should only go higher. But scale your confidence level in the offensive line for me right now. Key to victory number 5. I want this run game to just continue to progress and be good. We saw last week these two guys, Justice Haynes and Jam Miller, were absolutely electric, especially Justice Haynes. He was incredible for you. Four carries for over 100 yards and nothing to scoff at from Jam Miller as well. I think, this also is on the offensive line to create those holes for them and, it specifically in the run game, get some push as well. I would also maybe like to see these guys, neither one of them last week got targeted in the pass game. I think Jam Miller in particular is, a real versatile player when it comes to catching balls out of the backfield. I think Justice Haynes can absolutely do it too. We just saw it from Jam Miller more last year. So I really want this run game to continue from what we saw from them in the first week of the season.